The train slowed as it approached the station. Dust rose in soft clouds, glowing under the golden evening light. He sat still, gripping his worn duffel bag. After years of war, he was finally home. His name was Amir, a soldier, a survivor. But as the train came to a stop, his chest tightened in a way the battlefield never could. Because this felt different. He stepped onto the platform. The air smelled familiar, warm, heavy, like memories he had buried long ago. People moved around him. Some laughed, some cried, some reunited. But no one was waiting for him. Not a single face in the crowd turned his way. Amir checked his phone. No messages, no missed calls. He stared at the screen longer than he should have, then slowly slipped it back into his pocket. Maybe they're preparing something, he whispered to himself. A surprise. He walked out of the station. Each step felt heavier than the last. The streets hadn't changed much. Same cracked sidewalks, same old shops, same stray cat sleeping near the tea stall. But something felt off. He reached his neighborhood, the place where he grew up, where he laughed, where he said goodbye. His heart began to race. This was it. Home. He stopped in front of his house, or what used to be his house. The gate was different. Fresh paint, new lock. The old neem tree still stood tall, but its branches had been trimmed. It didn't feel like his anymore. Amir frowned. Maybe his family had renovated. It had been years. Things change. People move on. He pushed the gate open slowly. It creaked, but not in the way he remembered. He knocked on the door. Once, twice, then harder. Footsteps approached from inside. Amir straightened his posture. A small smile appeared on his face. He was ready. The door opened. A stranger stood there. A middle-aged man. Confused. Suspicious. "Yes?" the man asked. Amir blinked. I think you're at my house," he said, forcing a polite smile. The man frowned. "Your house?" "Yes," Amir replied. "I'm Amir. I live here." The man's expression changed, not to recognition, but to something else, something uncomfortable. "I think you have the wrong place," the man said slowly. "We bought this house 2 years ago." Amir felt the ground shift beneath him. "Bought," he repeated. "Yes." The man nodded. "From an elderly woman. She said she had no one left." No one left. The words echoed in Amir's mind, over and over again. "That's not possible," Amir whispered. "My mother lives here." The man hesitated, then spoke carefully. "She said her son died in the war." Silence. Complete silence. Amir didn't react at first. His face stayed still. Too still. Then he laughed. A short, broken laugh. That's a mistake," he said. "I'm right here." The man didn't respond, because there was nothing to say. Amir stepped back slowly. His legs felt weak, his breathing uneven. Dead. They thought he was dead. He turned away from the house, from the stranger, from everything he thought he knew. The sun was setting now, darkness creeping in, just like the truth. Amir walked without direction, his mind racing, questions crashing into each other. Why didn't they wait? Why didn't they search? Why didn't they believe? But the question that hurt the most, why did his own mother let go? He stopped near the old park, the one he used to visit as a child. The swings were still there, rusty, quiet. He sat down on a bench, staring into nothing. That's when he noticed something. A small girl, playing alone. She looked familiar, strangely familiar. She dropped her toy. It rolled toward Amir's feet. He picked it up. A small wooden soldier. He froze. His hands trembled, because carved into the back of the toy were 2 initials. AK, Amir Khan. His breath caught. His heart pounded. The girl walked up to him, smiling innocently. "That's mine," she said softly. Amir looked at her, really looked at her, and that's when he saw it. Her eyes. They were exactly like his. "Where did you get this?" he asked, his voice shaking. "My mama gave it to me," she replied. Amir's world stopped. "Mama?" he repeated. "Yes," she nodded happily. "She says it belonged to someone very brave." Amir swallowed hard. "What's your name?" he asked. The girl smiled. Zoya. The name hit him like a storm, because that was the name he and his wife had chosen. Years ago, before he left for war, Amir felt something break inside him. He leaned forward slightly, barely able to speak. "Who is your father?" he asked. The girl tilted her head, thinking. Then she answered, "I don't have one." Silence. Amir's hands slowly dropped to his sides. But deep inside, a truth was beginning to form. A truth more shocking than death itself. And this time, he wasn't sure he was ready to face it. Amir couldn't move. The little girl stood in front of him, waiting. Her small fingers reached out for the wooden soldier. He handed it back slowly. His eyes never left her face. Every detail felt painfully familiar. "Zoya," he whispered again, as if saying the name might change something. She smiled, then turned and began to walk away. Amir hesitated, just for a second. Then he stood up and followed her. Each step felt unreal, like he was walking through someone else's life. The girl walked confidently, like she knew exactly where she was going. She didn't look back, not even once. Amir kept his distance. His heart pounded in his ears. Questions flooded his mind. His wife, his child, his death. None of it made sense. They turned into a narrow street, one Amir didn't recognize. New buildings, new faces, a new life. Zoya stopped in front of a small house. Simple, clean, quiet. She pushed the gate open, then paused. For a moment, she looked back. Her eyes met Amir's. There was no fear in them, only curiosity. "Are you coming?" she asked innocently. Amir froze. He hesitated. "I was just following me," she finished. Her tone wasn't accusing, just honest. Amir exhaled slowly. There was no point denying it. "Yes," he admitted. She smiled again. "Mama says strangers shouldn't follow," she said. Amir almost laughed. "Almost." "She's right," he replied softly. Zoya stepped inside the gate, then added, "But you don't feel like a stranger." Those words hit him harder than anything else. He stood there for a second longer, then slowly walked in. The house felt warm, not in temperature, in feeling. It was filled with life. Small shoes by the door, colorful drawings on the wall, a soft scent of tea in the air. Amir's chest tightened. This was a home, a real one. "Mama," Zoya called out. "I'm back." Amir's heart stopped. Footsteps echoed from inside, slow, careful, and then she appeared. Amir forgot how to breathe. It was her, Sarah, his wife. She stood in the doorway, frozen, just like him. Time collapsed between them. Years of distance, gone in a single moment. Her eyes widened, her lips parted, but no sound came out. "Amir," she whispered, his name, from her voice. "After all these years." "Yes," he said, barely audible. The cup in her hand slipped. It shattered on the floor. Zoya jumped slightly, confused. "Mama?" she asked, but Sarah didn't move. She couldn't. Her eyes filled with tears. "You," she struggled to speak. "You're alive?" Amir nodded slowly. "I came back," he said. Silence filled the room. Heavy, unbearable. Then suddenly, Sarah stepped back. Not forward. Back, as if she had seen a ghost. "No," she whispered. "This isn't real." Amir felt something twist inside him. "It is," he said. "I'm here." Zoya looked between them, her small face full of confusion. "Mama, who is he?" she asked. Sarah didn't answer immediately. Her eyes stayed locked on Amir. Then finally, she spoke. Her voice broke. Amir waited. Every second felt like a lifetime. "He's someone we lost," she finished. "Lost, not returned, not found, lost." Amir swallowed hard. "I didn't choose to disappear," he said quietly. Sarah closed her eyes. Tears slipped down her cheeks. "They told me you were gone," she replied. "No body, but no hope either." Amir stepped forward slightly. "I tried come back," he said. "There were delays, transfers, confusion." His voice grew heavier. "But I never stopped trying." Sarah shook her head slowly. "You don't understand," she whispered. "Then help me understand. Amir replied. Her eyes shifted, for the first time, away from him, toward Zoya. The little girl stood silently, clutching the wooden soldier. Sarah took a deep breath. She was born after you left, she said softly. Amir's heart skipped. I know, he replied, but Sarah's next words changed everything. I raised her alone, she continued. I buried you in my heart. Amir felt the weight of those words. I never remarried, she added. Relief flickered across his face, but only for a moment, because Sarah wasn't finished. But she hesitated. Amir's chest tightened again. There's something you don't know. The room grew colder. Amir stared at her, waiting. Sarah looked at Zoya, then back at him. Her voice dropped to a whisper. The man who declared you dead. Amir frowned. He didn't make a mistake. Silence. What do you mean? Amir asked. Sarah's hands trembled. He came with proof, she said. Official documents, reports. Amir shook his head. That can't be right. Sarah took a step closer now. I believe them, she said. I had to. Amir's voice grew firm. Who was he asked. Sarah hesitated, then finally said the name. Captain Rahim. Amir's blood ran cold, because he knew that name too well. Captain Rahim wasn't just an officer. He was the last man Amir saw, before everything went dark. The last face, the last voice, the last memory. And suddenly, Amir realized something terrifying. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't confusion. This was planned. And the man who erased him from the world was still out there, watching. The name echoed in Amir's mind. Captain Rahim. Everything inside him went still. Not calm, not peace. Something darker. Zoya's laughter broke the silence. Soft, innocent, unaware of the storm forming around her. Amir looked at her again. Really looked this time. His daughter, his blood, his life continued without him. Sarah wiped her tears, trying to steady herself. You remember him, don't you? She asked quietly. Amir nodded. I remember everything, he replied. But that wasn't true. Not completely. There were gaps, fragments missing, moments lost in darkness. The last mission, the last night, the last breath before everything disappeared. I need to know what happened, Amir said. Sarah hesitated. I thought you were gone, she whispered again, as if the world had decided for me. Amir clenched his fists. Someone decided, he said. The room felt smaller now, tighter. Zoya sat on the floor, humming softly, playing with her wooden soldier. Amir watched her, then looked back at Sarah. Did he come alone? He asked. Sarah shook her head. No, she said. There were others. Officials. Papers. Seals. Everything looked real, she added. Amir let out a slow breath. That's because it was made to look real, he said. Sarah's eyes filled with fear. What are you saying? She asked. Amir stepped closer. I'm saying I didn't just go missing. He paused. I was removed. The word hung in the air. Heavy. Sharp. Sarah covered her mouth. No, she whispered. Amir's voice hardened. The last mission, he began. It wasn't like the others. His eyes drifted back into memory. We were sent to secure a remote area, he said. Nothing unusual on paper, but it felt wrong from the start. Sarah listened carefully, afraid to interrupt. There were fewer men than usual, Amir continued, and too many unknowns. His jaw tightened. Rahim was in charge. Zoya looked up briefly, hearing the tension in his voice, then went back to playing. We reached the site at night. Amir said, no signals, no communication. He closed his eyes for a moment. I remember a sound, he whispered. Not gunfire, not explosions. Something controlled. Sarah stepped closer. What happened then? She asked. Amir opened his eyes. I was separated from the unit, he said, just for a moment. But that moment, his voice dropped, changed everything. He swallowed hard. I saw Rahim, he said. Sarah frowned. That's not strange, she replied. He was your commander. Amir shook his head slowly. No, he said, not like that. He wasn't leading. He was waiting. Sarah felt a chill run through her. Waiting for what? She asked. Amir's eyes met hers. For me? Silence. The air felt heavier. What are you saying? Sarah whispered. Amir took a deep breath. He knew I'd be there, he said. He knew exactly where I'd step. Sarah's heart began to race. That doesn't make sense, she said. It does, Amir replied. If I wasn't meant to come back. Zoya's toy slipped from her hands. It hit the floor with a soft sound. Neither of them noticed. I remember him speaking. Amir continued. What did he say? Sarah asked. Amir's expression darkened. He said, Amir paused. You were never supposed to survive this. Sarah gasped softly. That's not possible, she said. Amir didn't respond immediately, because deep down, he knew it was. After that, he continued slowly. Everything went black. Sarah's hands trembled again. And then, she asked, I woke up weeks later. Amir said, in a place I didn't recognize. A temporary facility. No names. No records. Sarah stared at him. Why would they keep you alive? She asked. Amir's answer came quietly. Because I knew something. The room went silent again. Sarah shook her head. What could be so important? She asked. Amir looked at Zoya, then back at her. I don't remember, he admitted. That was the truth that haunted him most. Not just what was taken from him, but what was left behind. If Raheem wanted you gone, Sarah said slowly, then why tell me you were dead? Amir's eyes narrowed. Because dead men don't come back asking questions. Sarah's breath caught. And if I stayed gone, he added, no one would ever look deeper. Zoya stood up. She walked toward Sarah. Mama, why are you crying? She asked softly. Sarah quickly wiped her tears. I'm okay, she said, forcing a smile. But she wasn't, because now she understood. This wasn't just about loss. This was about truth. A truth someone had tried to bury, without leaving a trace. Amir looked at both of them. His family, his reason to survive. I'm not leaving again, he said firmly. Sarah looked at him. Fear and hope mixed in her eyes. You might not have a choice, she whispered. Amir frowned. What do you mean? He asked. Sarah hesitated, then slowly reached for something on the table. A small envelope. Old. Unopened. It came months ago, she said. Amir took it carefully. His name was written on it, in bold letters. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside, a single piece of paper, with just one sentence. Stay dead or she pays the price. Amir's blood turned cold. He looked at Zoya, then back at the message. And in that moment, he realized the truth was even darker than he imagined, because this wasn't over. It had never been over. And now, it was coming for his family. The paper slipped slightly in Amir's hand, but he didn't drop it. His grip tightened, so tight his knuckles turned white. Stay dead or she pays the price. The words burned into his mind. Zoya laughed softly behind him, still unaware, still safe for now. Amir folded the paper carefully, too carefully, as if control over that small action was all he had left. Sarah watched him. Her fear had changed. It was no longer confusion. Now it was certainty. They knew, she whispered. Amir looked up. They still know, he replied. The room felt suffocating. Why didn't you tell anyone? He asked. Sarah shook her head. Who would I tell? She said. They already declared you dead. Her voice cracked. And I believed them. Amir softened for a moment. You did what you had to, he said quietly. But inside, he was already planning. Because now it wasn't just about truth. It was about protection. Zoya ran toward him, holding the wooden soldier. Look, she said excitedly. I fix his arm. Amir forced a smile. That's good, he said gently. She held it up proudly. He's strong now, she added. Amir stared at the toy, then whispered, almost to himself, So am I? Sarah noticed a shift in his tone. You're thinking of going after him, she said. Amir didn't deny it. He came after my life. Amir replied. Now he's threatening my family. Sarah stepped closer. That's exactly what he wants, she said. Amir frowned. To draw you out, she continued, to make you visible again. Amir looked at the letter. I already am, he said. Silence fell again. Zoya tugged on Sarah's dress. Mama, I'm hungry, she said. Sarah blinked, pulled back into reality. I'll make something, she said softly. She walked into the kitchen, leaving Amir alone with Zoya. The little girl sat beside him, swinging her legs. You look sad, she said. Amir looked at her. Do I? He asked. She nodded. Mama looks like that sometimes too, she added. Amir swallowed. I'm just thinking, he said. Zoya leaned closer. About bad people? She asked. Amir froze. Why do you say that? He asked. She shrugged. Mama says bad people make good people sad. Amir felt a sharp pain in his chest, out of the mouths of children. Sometimes, he said slowly, good people have to stand up to them. Zoya smiled. Like my soldier, she said. Amir nodded. Yes, he replied. Just like that. Sarah returned with a small tray. Simple food. Bread. Tea. They sat together. But no one really ate. The silence between them was loud. Finally, Amir spoke. I need to find Rahim. Sarah closed her eyes briefly. I knew you'd say that, she replied. He won't stop, Amir added. Not unless I do. Sarah looked at Zoya. And what about her? She asked. Amir followed her gaze. That's why I have to end this, he said. Sarah's voice grew firmer. No, she said. That's why you have to survive this. Amir met her eyes. I will, he said. But even he wasn't sure. Sarah reached into a drawer. There's something else, she said. Amir tensed. She pulled out a small photograph. Old, slightly faded. She handed it to him. Amir looked at it. His breath caught again. It was him, standing beside Rahim. But something was wrong. They weren't in uniform. They weren't on a mission. They looked relaxed, almost like friends. What is this? Amir asked. Sarah hesitated. You don't remember? She said. Amir shook his head slowly. No, he replied. Sarah took a deep breath. He came here once, she said. Before your last mission. Amir's heart skipped. He what? He asked. He visited us, she continued. You introduced him. Amir felt the world tilt again. That's not possible, he said. Sarah's voice grew quieter. You trusted him, she said. The words hit harder than anything else. Trusted. Amir stared at the photo, trying to force a memory. But nothing came, just fragments. Shadows. If I trusted him, Amir whispered, then why would he do this? Sarah didn't answer, because she didn't know. But deep inside, Amir felt the answer forming. This wasn't random. This wasn't just betrayal. This was something deeper, something personal. Zoya yawned. Sarah gently picked her up. It's time to sleep, she said softly. Zoya rested her head on her shoulder. Before closing her eyes, she looked at Amir. Don't go, she whispered. Amir's heart broke again. I won't, he promised. But promises felt fragile now. Sarah carried her to the next room. Amir stood alone, holding the photograph, the letter, the weight of everything. Then suddenly, a sound. Outside, a faint click. Amir's body tensed instantly. His instincts kicked in. Sharp, alert. He moved toward the window slowly. Careful, silent. He looked outside. A car, parked across the street. Engine off. Lights off. But someone was inside, watching. Amir stepped back. They found me, he whispered. Sarah returned. What is it? She asked. Amir looked at her. They're here, he said. Fear flooded her face. What do we do? She asked. Amir didn't hesitate this time. We stop running, he said. His voice was calm. Too calm. Tonight this ends. Sarah shook her head. You can't fight this alone, she said. Amir looked at her. I'm not alone, he replied. Then he looked toward the room where Zoya slept. And I'm not losing them. Outside, the car door slowly opened. A figure stepped out. And even from a distance, Amir recognized the walk. Cold, confident, familiar. Captain Rahim, face to face. After all these years, the past had arrived. And this time, it wasn't leaving without a fight. The night felt heavier than ever. The silence outside the house wasn't empty. It was waiting. Amir stood near the window, his reflection barely visible in the dark glass. And beyond it, the man who changed everything. Captain Rahim. Sarah stood behind him, frozen, her hand trembling near her mouth. Zoya was asleep in the next room, unaware that the world outside had just collapsed into confrontation. Amir exhaled slowly, then turned away from the window. "It's time," he said. Sarah grabbed his arm. "Don't go out there," she whispered. Amir looked at her hand, then at her face. "If I don't," he said quietly, "he will never stop." He gently removed her hand, not with anger, with certainty, and then he walked outside. The air hit him instantly, cold, sharp, real. Rahim stood under the streetlight, still, calm, almost peaceful, as if this was just another meeting, not the end of years of silence. "Amir," Rahim said, his voice steady, controlled. Amir stopped a few steps away. "You shouldn't be here," Amir replied. Rahim smiled slightly. "I was always here," he said. Silence stretched between them. Amir studied him. Every detail, every expression. "You wrote the report," Amir said. Rahim didn't deny it. "Yes," he replied. "You declare me dead," Amir continued. Another calm nod. "Yes." Amir's jaw tightened. "Why?" he asked. Rahim sighed, not like a villain, like a man explaining something inevitable. "Because you were never meant to return," he said. Amir stepped closer. "Explain," he demanded. Rahim's eyes shifted briefly toward the house, then back to Amir. "It wasn't personal," he said. Amir let out a bitter laugh. "You threatened my family," he said. "That's personal enough." Rahim didn't react. Instead, he reached into his coat. Amir tensed instantly, but Rahim only pulled out a file. Old, worn. He held it up. "Do you remember this operation?" he asked. Amir stared at it. Something stirred inside him. Fragments. Noise. Confusion. "I remember being sent," Amir said slowly. Rahim nodded. "Only you weren't sent," he corrected. Amir frowned. "You volunteered," Rahim said. Silence. Amir shook his head. "No," he said firmly. "That's not true." Rahim stepped forward slightly. "You don't remember because you weren't supposed to," he said. Amir's breath slowed. "What are you talking about?" he asked. Rahim's voice dropped. "That mission wasn't about enemies," he said. "It was about evidence." Amir's expression hardened. "What evidence?" he asked. Rahim looked at him directly. "Proof of internal trafficking routes," he said. Amir froze. The word hit deeper than bullets. "Trafficking." Rahim continued. "You uncovered something that reached too high," he said. Amir's mind raced. "No," he whispered. "Yes," Rahim replied. "And when you found out who was involved," he paused, "you became a liability." Amir felt his stomach drop. "That's why you erased me?" Amir asked. Rahim shook his head slowly. "I didn't erase you," he said. "I saved you." Silence shattered the air. Amir stared at him. "What?" he said. Rahim's tone softened slightly. "If you had returned officially," he said, "you and your family would all be dead." Amir stepped back. "That's why I falsified your death," Rahim continued, "to remove you from the system, so you could live." Amir shook his head. "You ruined my life," he said. Rahim didn't argue. "I protected your daughter," he replied. Amir froze. The world narrowed. "What did you say?" Amir asked quietly. Rahim looked toward the house again. "They were watching her," he said, "waiting for confirmation of your status." Amir's fist clenched. "You used my death as protection?" he said. Rahim nodded. "Yes." Amir's voice broke slightly. "And Sarah?" he asked. Rahim paused. "She believed what she needed to survive," he said. Amir's breathing grew heavier. "This is madness," he said. Rahim stepped closer. "No," he replied. "This is reality you were never meant to see." A long silence followed. Then Amir spoke again. "If what you're saying is true," he said slowly, "then why come back now?" Rahim's expression changed, just slightly. "Because they know you're alive," he said. Amir's blood ran cold. "And now," Rahim continued, They won't stop until everything tied to you is erased. A distant sound echoed. A car engine. Closer this time. More than one. Amir turned slightly. Rahim spoke again. You have a choice, he said. Amir looked back at him. Choices end of the day you were dead. Amir replied. Rahim nodded once. Then choose what matters, he said. Your truth or your family. The words hung in the air like a blade. Amir didn't answer immediately. Instead, he turned toward the house. Inside, Sarah stood by the window, watching, waiting, and Zoya, sleeping peacefully, unaware of the war outside her door. Amir closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. When he spoke, his voice was steady. I choose them, he said. Rahim exhaled slowly. I was afraid you would, he replied. A faint sound echoed again. Doors opening. Footsteps. Multiple directions. Amir stepped back toward the house. Then this ends the night, he said. Rahim didn't stop him, because now it wasn't just one man's truth. It was a collision of truths. Sarah met Amir at the door. What's happening? She asked urgently. Amir looked at her, then at the room where Zoya slept. They're here, he said. Sarah's face paled. Amir gently closed the door behind him, locking it, not to trap them in, but to keep everything else out. He turned back toward the street. Rahim was still there, but now others were arriving. Amir exhaled. No more running, he said quietly, and for the first time, he wasn't a forgotten soldier. He was the truth they tried to erase, and he was standing right in front of it.